on the Book of Faces. I think we are about good to go. Close to it at least. Maybe kind of, sort of. Awesome sauce. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for taking time to join us on this late-ish Friday morning for me. I know normally I'm at this a little bit sooner, but I stayed up till 4 a.m. making buttons because I'm a nerd. And I've got a bunch of shows lined up for the next couple weeks, and I wanted to, instead of sporadically making buttons one at a time, I wanted to make like 100 buttons in one sitting. Do you like my buttons?
I think they're cool.
Okay. What's the coolest one I've made so far, you think?
I haven't seen them since the first time you were making them.
Okay. Well, they're all spread out on the kitchen table if you want to check those up before I pack them up. I'm trying to keep working on displays. My kids got me a button maker for Father's Day. I think it was Father's Day or my birthday, one or the other.
I think it was your birthday.
Yeah. So I've been trying to be productive about it. And it's neat to see people uh see something like, oh, it's this character. This character never gets a button. Like I made a Fluttershy button and a Discord button. Discord like the My Little Pony dude, not the computer app for you nerds out there that use it. So we're gonna jump into our news for the week of August 23rd as we're wrapping up the week. One of the biggest pieces of news that I'm just genuinely think it's gonna be fun is there's an album coming out. Oh, by the way, everybody, this is my daughter. This is my daughter. Hello, internets. This is my daughter. She's gonna speak loud and use her big girl voice when she talks. Well, she's doing a good job. Um, and another way to tell if you're speaking loud enough is if your words actually match after you say it. So you can check that as we're going. There is a new album dropping in 2 weeks, um, called A Whole New Sound, and it is Disney pop punk. You remember that the running up that hill, the pop punk version of that, and Surface Pressure that would listen to a lot. Um, Disney, a lot of those times, those people are just making album music for their own fun and selling it a little bit. And then Disney shuts it down, be like, no. Well, this time Disney's actually putting together a licensed official pop punk album. Um, and it comes out on September 6th, and it features Newfound Glory, which is not a band you would have ever heard of, doing Part of Your World. So we get pop punk Part of Your World. Mayday Parade is doing Remember Me from Coco. And I personally am kind of here for a pop punk Coco. Remember me. It's gonna be fantastic. Simple Plan is doing Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Um, Magnolia Park is doing Eye to Eye, and that's the one I've been listening to lately. I've actually bought the single of that one, but Magnolia Park is going to be doing Eye to Eye. Yellow Card is doing A Whole New World with Chrissy Constanza. We the Kings are going Go the Distance from Hercules. Um, Plain White Tees, which is a one of the bigger names in the pop punk world of all these bands were more relevant like 20 years ago. Um, but good morning, Mr. Benson. I hope you're doing well, man. And sorry I've not responded sooner on your book thingy. Yes, I would absolutely take a look at that. Um, Meet Me at the Altar is doing You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. Boys Like Girls is doing You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan. Tokyo Hotel is doing Colors of the Wind. That's a surprising one for me. I'm surprised they're doing Colors of the Wind, but I guess it's a popular song. Lolo is doing Let It Go. And Bowling for Soup is doing Friend Like Me from Aladdin, which I'm pretty pumped. Bowling for Soup is a solid band.
I
And
I feel like they should leave Can You Feel Love Tonight alone. It's just a nice moment. Like you gotta leave it alone.
yeah, but here's the thing. Disney does not know how to leave things alone ever. Um They do not know how to leave things alone when it comes to recreations. That's why we had the Lion King 2 and 2.5 and getting stuff like that. So if you enjoy pop punk, if you enjoy Disney, you've got an album coming September 6th. I will absolutely be buying this and we'll be stuck listening to it for a hot minute. September 6th, while we're on that date, is also the date that the Beetlejuice sequel comes out. And it's the day before our Comic-Con, which we're hosting in 2 weeks. So lots of big stuff coming up that day, that weekend.
I'm really excited for the Beetlejuice 2 movie because I like Beetlejuice.
Okay, when you were saying leave stuff alone, what if they mess it up?
Eh. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be like Lydia, like her daughter going through the same thing over again. Like from what I've seen, I haven't like seen a full trailer, but I feel like it's just gonna be like her daughter going through what she did over again.
Is it more uh are you enjoying the idea of a sequel more because it's Jenna Ortega? Because you already have a association with Jenna Ortega? Or okay. I feel like it being Jenna Ortega is definitely a good breach for or branch out for this generation. Because you've got her with Wednesday and uh, Scream and all the other things that she's been in. So yeah, I think it's a good touch. If they were going to do anybody, Jenna Ortega is a solid choice to do it with. So, and bringing back 93% of the original cast is also a solid choice. Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis not being present is understandable. Um, but I do hate the fact that the Lydia's dad can't be in it because of bad life choices. Like he's done stuff that's kind of got him in trouble to the point that he can't be in it. But I digress. So uh September 6th is a big day for nerd culture all around. Uh Eminem news, because I know you're so excited about news about Eminem. Eminem, his 2020 album Music to Be Murdered By just went platinum, which means it sold a bajillion copies, which makes him the first rapper to go platinum in 4 different decades. Like 4 decades, he's gone platinum. He's had an album go platinum in 4 different decades. That's mega impressive. He went in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. And he's gone platinum in 4 different decades. First of all, the dude's been rapping in 4 different decades. Rap's only existed like 6 decades, maybe five and a half. And the fact that he's gone platinum in 4 of them is pretty impressive. Um, DC Comics is you know how like with art with trade paperbacks and comics, they usually come in like if I can reach one. Yeah. So normally if you buy a graphic novel, they look like this. Like it's a trade paperback of 6 different issues or 12 different issues. This one is The Me You Love in the Dark by Scotty Young, and it's autographed. Oh. Um, Normally they look like this. Well, DC Comics is repackaging all of their classic stories, or a lot of their classic stories, to actually make them look about the size of a manga, like the My Hero books.
They like this.
Shorter and everything. They're repackaging them to make them shorter and everything, so they're a little more compact for people to carry around because this can be an awkward sizing. So they're shrinking them down and packing them up that way. So just to ask you, what would you rather read? This size or manga size?
I think that size because the bigger it means like kind of like I feel like the writing would be bigger. In manga, sometimes the writing is like really small.
Yeah, I also like just being able to appreciate the full visual of the artwork too. So yeah, but DC is rebranding those, and you can actually pick them up now. They're all in a collective format, and they'll continue doing it. Um, yeah, I don't think you've watched any of this because it came out during the summer when we've been traveling. But DC's The Acolyte, not sorry, not DC, Star Wars, Disney's. Yeah, Disney's the word I was looking for. Disney's The Acolyte has been canceled after 1 season. Why? It's a solid question. You haven't watched this because again, we've been on the road and I wasn't trying to force another Star Wars show on you guys while I was traveling. Because the first episode came out when I was in North Dakota, and then we've all just been gone since then. Um, there was a lot of the Acolyte that people didn't enjoy. And you know how sometimes fans can be kind of the worst for things. They can be the most upset and the most frustrated. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the storyline that people didn't like. Um, there was like the Dothamir witches, like um the ladies that bring back like Darth Maul and Clone Wars and stuff like that. And the lady that was in the Ahsoka show. Did you watch finish Ahsoka?
Mhm.
Okay. Like the Night Sisters. Yeah. Um there was a whole clan of Night Sisters, and they, you know how like one of the weird things in Star Wars is that like Anakin doesn't have a father, like he's like Jesus-ish, that like he don't got an earthly baby daddy. Um well, they did this with a little girl. Like the Night Sisters made a little girl and then split her in two, like her good parts and her bad parts, and made her twins. And so that's weird enough. And there's a lot of other things. And see, John says he genuinely loved the Acolyte, and I know a lot of people that did genuinely love the Acolyte. Ashley from Fangirling Over Jesus is one of the biggest, you know, and Nerdy Girl 501 is also a big deal. There's a lot of people that love the Acolyte. I personally believe that episode 5 of the Acolyte had the best Star Jedi lightsaber fight of all time. Like it's in the top 5. There's good, but it's the first ever Sith, air quotes, that we meet. Like it's 120 years before episode 1. So this is when the Jedi are still in the High Republic times and stuff like that. But the main character is Rue from Hunger Games. Um,
Oh, her.
yeah, yeah. That Rue dies. Yeah. All right. Good. John, is good seeing you too, bro. Um, John's got to go. But she's that, and then also there's a Japanese actor that learned English just to play his role because he wanted to be in Star Wars. Bro, he learned English just to be in Star Wars. You've also got one of the main ladies from The Matrix who's a Jedi Master in it. You've got the first ever, you know how like Darth Sidious, like Palpatine talks to Anakin, he's like, "Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" Remember that line and everything? We actually see Darth Plagueis for the first time. And now, but then the show got canceled. There's a lot of other stuff in terms of, I'm gonna say those fun words, okay? There's a lot of there's some stuff in terms of sexuality and stuff that was like questionable for a lot of people. And then also uh they tried to make the Jedi or the Sith bad guy sexy. Like there's a point where he's like taking his shirt off and bathing in a river, and like all the internet's like, ooh, and it's like, why? We don't need that in Star Wars. I get it, we do, but like there's two different scenes of dudes just with their shirts off unnecessarily. So, people had beef. Hold on one second. I'm gonna answer a live telephone call. Hello? Let me call you right back. Um, but yes, that happened. Sorry for the interruption. Let's see. What else? Bob Goff. I love me some Bob Goff. Bob Goff has a book coming out in December called Catching Whimsy, which is basically Bob telling people how to be Bob. Warm, cheerful, encouraging stuff like that. So that is going to be coming December. Will absolutely be. I'll be buying that book, and it's got Bubbles as its marketing. So, yay Bubbles. I'll be having Bubbles everywhere. Um, Borderlands is a video game movie that just came out. Borderlands is a video game movie that I was never going to watch because it did not look muy bueno. You see, there's a mask right. Look here, back there, right beside the Shy Guy mask. That's from Borderlands. I only have that mask up because I got it at San Diego. And I kept all my stuff from San Diego. Borderlands did really, really bad at the movies for a big budget movie. It had over $100 million budget. It's currently sitting at 25 million. So it made a quarter of its budget back. Um, Coraline,
Mhm.
like that Coraline, re-released in theaters for a weekend. Coraline made more money in its theatrical re-release for a weekend domestically in America than all Borderlands has made the entire time it's been out. So I think that's pretty rough if Coraline's re-release does better than your movie. So, um, oh, you want to know something crazy? I don't think I've watched Coraline all the way through.
Well, I mean, you haven't watched good movies.
Shut your mouth. Like what? What else have I watched this?
Like, didn't you say you haven't watched Hercules? It's just a good
I've
movie.
not watched Hercules. I've not watched Tarzan.
Have you watched Steven Universe?
Not all of it. I've watched a good amount. Like I'm down with Steven Universe. I've just not watched it. Like y'all watched it when it was pandemic-y times and I was
Yeah, I just watched it all through recently.
yeah. But yeah, Coraline outperformed Borderlands in America. So that's a whole thing. Um, one of the biggest casting newses that's been out for One Piece is that people have been saying for a while they wanted Jamie Lee Curtis to be Dr. Kureha, Chopper's mentor. Um, and uh with that, Jamie Lee Curtis is busy. She was the one of the people that was just in the Borderlands movie, but and she's also about to be in Freaky Friday Part 2 or whatever.
Making another one?
They're making a sequel 30 years later or whatever to the last Freaky Friday with like Lindsay Lohan. Like they're bringing it back. Both those people are coming back. Um, Derek says he's going to binge watch Battlestar Galactica. Dude, I haven't watched Battlestar Galactica since 2011, and I really do need to rewatch it. It's been on my list. I have the whole box set for it. But they've cast Dr. Kureha, and it's an actress named Katie Seagal. For y'all out here in the nerd world, Dr. Kureha, Katie Seagal is, Peggy Bundy, Gemma Teller, Leela from Futurama, and a bunch of other things, but it's perfect. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis would have been good. I'm personally more excited for her to play Dr. Kureha. They've also cast the doctor, the other doctor. He's not anybody I could tell you would recognize. Um, but he's another one. Um, the thing I'm most excited about, I think out of all the news this week, is Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney. It was my second favorite ride at Disney World that wasn't Star Wars related. This is my second favorite roller coaster because the Yeti roller coaster is dope.
I don't
Um,
think I've been on that
you
one.
didn't do that one. You were a little too um
Short.
yeah, the last time we did it. Bella rode that one a lot. The Yeti ride is my favorite one so far, roller coaster. There's other rides that, like the Star Wars rides are more fun. The Yeti's a roller coaster. Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster is my second favorite roller coaster there. And because Aerosmith was my favorite band in the night, rock band in the 90s. They see the Funko Pop, the dude with the sunglasses right in front of Rapunzel. That's the lead singer of that. I actually had tickets to go see Aerosmith this year and last year and the year before. But they've canceled all the tours because the dude's throat is so worn thin that he can't sing anymore. And they were trying to let him recuperate, but he couldn't do it.
Did
So
you get your money back?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody else bought me tickets, but they've officially retired from performing. And with that, there's also been some issues because grown-ups make horrible life choices. Um, but yeah, Aerosmith ride has been taken down, like they did with Tiana and the
I'm sad that they shut that down. I
Yeah.
wanted to go.
Oh, not Tiana. Tiana's ride is up.
Oh, yay.
But you remember how it was Splash Mountain before?
Hmm.
Um, Now it's Tiana's ride.
Hmm.
They're taking down Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster. And wait for it. It's a power line ride. It's going to be Goofy driving your roller coaster cart because there's video elements to it and everything, getting you on time to a power line concert. So, that's going to be super dope. This is the point that's supposed to be coming in 2025. And once they announce when it's actually opening and everything, I'm going to start the weight loss journey so I can fit on the roller coaster.
We're gonna go back.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, plus they've also dropped the Mario World at Universal.
Mm.
I need to go to the Mario World. There's a new Guardians of the Galaxy ride we haven't ridden. Two Guardians of the Galaxy rides we haven't ridden. Well, one's in California.
We
But
have a lot that we need to
yeah,
go on.
but just solely for um Mario and Powerline. Absolutely.
I want some more of that Star Wars drink. That
That blue
blue.
milk,
Yeah, that was
that was
good.
freaking dope, man. The blue milk at Star Wars, not the blue milk you can buy in stores, but the blue milk in Star Wars is absolutely dope. So yeah, we're gonna have to go back to Disney whenever that's announced, but keep your eyes open for that because that's gonna be pretty great. Dr. Dre, do you know who Dr. Dre is? Okay. I failed my child. Not really, because still, Dr. Dre is a rapper.
Mm.
Dr. Dre is the reason the world has Eminem because he discovered Eminem and gave Eminem a chance when nobody else would give him a chance. Um, like he's featured in a lot of Eminem's music. Remember a couple Super Bowls ago when Eminem performed at the Super Bowl? Okay, you're usually asleep or
I
playing
don't
it.
usually pay attention to the
You're not
Super
paying.
Bowl. I
Um,
really just want to go because of the food.
The food, yeah, we have good food at our Super Bowl parties. Well, and Dr. Dre is kind of an iconic producer. Okay, you know the headphones Beats? Like there's people use headphones called Beats. He
Mhm.
designed those. He's responsible for those. Either way, Dr. Dre is an iconic rapper. He's a producer, he's a designer, stuff like that. Now he's training for the 2028 Olympics for archery. So, while he may never get another Grammy, there's a potential that Dr. Dre is going to get an Olympic gold medal in your lifetime. So
Is he good at archery?
uh, apparently he's working at it. Apparently Dr. Dre is training pretty hard on archery and he's planning to qualify for the 2028 Olympics for America. Because the 2028 Olympics are going to be in California.
Mm.
Um, and so Dr. Dre is training to qualify for the 2028 Olympics. That's going to be fun. With Snoop Dogg basically hosting the Olympics this year, it only fits because Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg work together too. Um, Taylor Swift officially dethroned Michael Jackson's record. Michael Jackson had a record for the most consecutive performances of a tour at Wembley Stadium in England. Michael Jackson had performed the Bad tour, like which is the name of the album. It wasn't a bad tour. Michael Jackson performed the Bad tour 8 days in a row at Wembley Stadium with everything selling out. Taylor officially is the first person to do more than that. This year, she just did 9 shows in a row at Wembley Stadium, sold out. And yeah, she has officially broken Michael Jackson's 35-year-old record. Um, yeah. Um, but on August 20th, she broke that record, and it was from 1988. So that record has been set since 1988, and she just broke it. Um, let's see. Uh, there is a new TV series that's about to drop, starring Kelly from The Office. She's a disgust in the first Inside Out. Kelly from The Office, Aunt Mindy Kaling, and Kate Hudson, who is, Almost Famous is my favorite movie. The lady that's on the poster and the cover for Almost Famous, the blonde curly haired lady.
Don't you have one over here somewhere?
That's the playbill from the Broadway thing. So it's not she's not on that. But either way, there's she is basically from the perspective of it is making a Ted Lasso spinoff. Not a spinoff, copy version. Like she's a rip off of Ted Lasso. And it's all been filmed. It's about to come out on Netflix. Um, but apparently the Ted Lasso camp is not very happy with the fact they're basically ripping off their whole vibe and story and everything else. But Running Point is about to come to Netflix, and uh, in a very not Ted Lasso thing, Jason Sudeikis has kind of been quoted as saying, "I hope it doesn't work." Because when you feel like you do something special, you don't want somebody just blatantly ripping it off. Uh, this dude, Senthil Ram Rama, man, I'm butchering this kid's name. Senthil Ramamarthy is going to be playing Phoebe's dad in the live action One Piece. He was in the show Heroes. He was briefly in The Office. He was Kelly's date to the wedding, to Dwight's wedding in The Office. He's been cast as that. There's a serial killer show called You that's pretty popular with peoples. They've officially finished wrapping the show forever, air quotes, forever. They're done with that, and that's pretty important. Um, there's a wrestler named Hulk Hogan. Do you know who Hulk Hogan is? Okay. Hulk Hogan was getting a biography movie, um, where Chris Hemsworth, Thor, was going to play Hulk Hogan. Like there's test footage of it, there's images of him and the everything with it. Chris Hemsworth was going to be playing Hulk Hogan. That's officially been canceled. It's not happening anymore. Hulk Hogan has said things and done some things lately that people are like about and kind of questionable. Um, he's done some good things, but he's also done some things that have rubbed people the wrong way. And now that movie is officially canceled, so we will not get Chris Hemsworth as Hulk Hogan. And honestly, I was pretty excited about that. Just seeing Chris Hemsworth perform as Hulk Hogan, but uh, yeah. Um, Tim Curry. I don't know if you know who Tim Curry is. Um, I know you know his voice. I don't know if you know who he is. Did you ever see the Muppet uh Treasure Island?
Oh no.
Okay. You know his voice. I'm trying to think of what you know his voice from. But anyway, Tim Curry, y'all, is returning to film. If you're not aware, Tim Curry had a stroke many years ago and has not done live or not has not done physical uh performances in a hot minute. He has not been on camera because he's in a wheelchair. He has facial um motion issues since his stroke, and it's probably a lot for him to be on camera in that capacity. But Tim Curry is officially returning to the screen in a horror movie called Scream. Not Scream, Stream. So it's coming out in a little bit. It's been 14 years since the last time he was on TV or in a movie. He was one of the biggest stars of. You know who he is? I know you know who he is. Home Alone 2, the butler that doesn't want to, or not the butler, but the hotel concierge person that is Kevin's bad guy. That guy. Okay. Um, but yeah, he's he had a stroke. He hasn't been able to walk or really do a lot. He's done some voice acting work, but he hasn't done a lot of on camera stuff, and that's coming. He'll be coming back to Scream, a horror movie called Stream. Okay, look right here. I don't want you to read this shit. You know how there's a bajillion streaming services?
Yeah.
Y'all know how there's a bajillion streaming services? Guess who's about to launch a new streaming service? Guess. I want to guess for real. Just pick any company in the world. Ready? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is launching a streaming service. The fast food restaurant that already has enough people not loving them, um, is launching a streaming service like Netflix, where they're going to have unscripted TV shows of like reality TV around families. They're going to have family-friendly entertainment. Um, they are paying a lot of money for game shows and people that made let's see, the game show is going to be called or the game show is being produced by a company called Glassman Media. They're the people that did The Wall for NBC. They're the people that did 13 Reasons Why on Netflix for whatever reason. But Chick-fil-A is launching its own TV network with original content, game shows, family entertainment, and then they'll also license out other stuff. Do you feel like we need a Chick-fil-A streaming service?
Mm, I don't think we do.
Derek says he'd watch it, and I'm interested to see um, what kind of content they would put out there. But the reality is, there's a whole lot of people on the internet and across the world that have a lot of unhappy things to say about this concept. But Chick-fil-A is officially launching a streaming network, and it's not a joke. Like people kept waiting for it because, like, if Taco Bell announced it was launching a streaming work, we'd all know it's just a commercial or it's a joke or whatever. But Chick-fil-A is officially launching one. Um, yeah, so that's totally happening. Um, as the Acolyte has been canceled, there's already a petition for by fans to bring it back. Like there's a lot of fans reporting saying we don't want it gone. So there's many people as many as there were people that didn't like it, there's as many people that do like it, and they're trying to fight back to bring it back. Terminator Zero, which is an anime about Terminator, which you've never seen any of the Terminators. Um, but Terminator Zero is dropping uh next week, and that's important. There's a anime Lord of the Rings coming to theaters in December. The War of Rohirrim or Rohirrim, Rohirrim. There we go. The War of Rohirrim will be going to theaters to see that. So there's anime. Lord of the Rings is coming. There is an anthology series. An anthology series is when it's a whole story or a whole series of something, but each episode is its own thing. Um, and so there's an anthology series that Amazon is making about different video game properties. So about stuff that hasn't gotten shows or TV or movies and stuff. So Amazon is making a video game anthology series called Secret Level, and that'll be coming in December as well. Um, there's also a new streaming service package called Stream Saver that's coming out, in which you get Peacock, Netflix, and Apple TV in one streaming service, which could potentially save money. But a lot of these streaming service bundles I haven't seen actually save money yet. They just cost different things. But like, I just want to watch Ted Lasso again, and maybe something else. But that's coming. Also, if you're not aware, you know how we have The Office. The Office was originally in England. They did their whole show. It was only 2 seasons and a movie. 2 seasons and a Christmas special. The American Office was 9 seasons. Um, Mexico has an office. Uh, there's one in South America. There's one in Spain, where they do the whole storyline their own way. Australia is about to premiere their own Office series. So Tristan, if/when you hear this, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this Office series, and it's the first Office series to start off with a lady as the boss. The lady main character, Michael Scott's person is named Hannah Howard, and it's going to be coming to Prime Video. So like Amazon Prime is coming for the Australian version of The Office, and I'm interested to see how that's going to go. Uh, there's a first-person shooter game coming out called Mouse PI for Hire, where it's a black and white cartoon mouse first-person shooter, where it looks like an old school Mickey Mouse cartoon as a shooting game. So that's gonna be a thing. Uh, also, there's a game coming out called Squirrel with a Gun, where you're literally an itty bitty squirrel walking around with a handgun shooting people. Does that sound like a game you're interested in or down for? Um, in a science note, scientists have now found a microscope or created a microscope that can see electrons moving. Like we're at a new stage in the scientific world where we can actually see electrons move, like at this level. The electrons move at 1,367 miles per second, and we can now see that. It's cool. But I'm like, if we can do that, why does our internet keep cutting out? Priorities, people. But yeah, we now have a scientist. The world's fastest microscope can see how electrons are actually moving. So that's pretty neat. In a bit of uh, pop culture history news, you've never watched Titanic, right? Okay. So spoilers, the boat sinks. Um,
I know what happened, like with the story of the Titanic, but I haven't watched
right,
the
right, right.
movie.
So the end of the movie of Titanic is a controversial thing. So there's a couple, air quotes, that just met on the boat, and a rich girl with everything and a poor boy from the streets. It's Aladdin on a boat in the ocean, in a cold ocean. Um, and the climactic thing of the movie is that there's a door that the girl is floating on. Um, hey, you okay? Yeah, let me call you right back. All right. There is a door that the girl is floating on in the water, and the boy is in the freezing water holding the door steady for her while she floats. Now, the debate is that people have always said that there was enough room on that door
For
for
both.
both of them. And I stand by that theory as well. The debate has always been that there's enough room on that door for both. Okay. All that being said, the door sold in an auction this week. The actual door from the movie that floated in the water sold this week for $718,000.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And you know, you know what it also is? It's a door big enough to hold two people. Um, The Last of Us season two has finished filming. So if you're a fan of The Last of Us, season two has finished filming. We'll probably get it um the end of this year or next year on HBO Max. Um, the Yeah, the box office thing from Coraline I mentioned earlier, that's true. Uh, there was a dude in the Olympics who was really a nerdy guy with glasses who Stephen Nedorosik. Yeah, Nedorosik. Stephen Nedorosik was the nerdy guy from the Olympics for America who just kind of killed it on the pommel horse, the thing where you just kind of like spin around on top of the kind of like horse looking bar. Um, Now he's going to Dancing with the Stars. So he's going from killing it at the Olympics. What's up, LJ? Good to see you, bro. But yeah, the guy it went from, straight up being a rock star at the Olympics, to now he's going to Dancing with the Stars. So that's happening. Um, have you heard about the Disney Springs lawsuit?
Yep.
Okay. The Disney lawsuit. Dude and his wife go to Disney. They tell the food folks, my wife has an allergy. She can't eat XYZ. They put it in her food anyway. She dies. Sad story. Um,
Did they fire the people who did it?
Hold on. Um, the husband of the now deceased wife sues Disney for a wrongful death. Disney fires back at him to say, you can't sue us because it's in your terms and conditions for Disney Plus. That in when we click accept to be able to watch it, it's saying that you can't sue Disney. And they're saying because your wife had a Disney Plus subscription and because you bought tickets to a Disney park and it's also in the stuff you click on the Disney park to get the tickets, that you can't sue us. And now they're firing back that the wife had the subscription, um, and that he bought the tickets so he could. They're still going back, but Disney has stopped fighting the dude because they said people are a priority and we want to take care of people. But it really does seem more like they just kind of got they were getting a really bad name, so they kind of let it go. Um, but it's not a good look for you to unalive a person and then say, "Oh, you can't sue us because you watch our streaming shows." That's pretty rough. Uh, but that's happening, so that battle's still going on. You know how I like Outcast. Stankonia, the album that's hanging on the wall in the kitchen living room area, showed up as number 4 on the UK rap charts this week.
Is that bad?
No, but like that album's 20 years old, 21 years old, 20, no, the album's 24 years old. And it showed up this week in the UK charts, which is just pretty crazy. For that. What?
Thank you.
What? No, hang on. We're almost done. This is the news, man. It's the potty breaks. Um, the doctor slash Matt Smith is joining a crime drama called Caught Stealing about people stealing a bunch of money in New York City. So more cool things for us to watch Matt Smith in are happening. And a weird thing. Okay, you see that right there? In Williamsburg, Virginia, a mysterious black ring appeared in the sky, and nobody can explain it. Um, and this is that there are no fires at the time. There was no pyrotechnics or anything like that. But they are trying to determine where this mysterious black ring came from. And you can see it in hundreds of videos and footage that's up where people posted it. Literally, there's a mysterious black ring that appeared in the sky over Williamsburg, Virginia. If you want to check out some video footage of that online, go for it. There is rumor that Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Koch have split up as a couple. I don't necessarily care, but just letting y'all know. A volcano erupted in Russia after a 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Um, did you know there were volcanoes in Russia?
No.
No, when I think of Russia, volcanoes are never top of the list of things that are in Russia. Mainly it's just cold. So why is it so cold if you've got a volcano? Get your act together, Russia. But there was a 7.0 magnitude earthquake and a volcano erupted. Was probably not on Russia's bingo card. Have you heard of the Shroud of Turin? I don't expect you to, but I'm just talking. You do?
No.
Oh, no, okay, word. The Shroud of Turin is a thing that was submitted and found back in 1300, like a solid 700 plus years ago. Um, and it was to believe to have been the grave clothes of Jesus. If you read in the Bible, it says that when the disciples got into the tomb and Mary and them got into the tomb, that Jesus's grave clothes that he was wrapped in were folded and laid neatly. Um, well, for a long time, it has been considered that the Shroud of Turin, that is this historical piece, has been considered to be Jesus's grave clothes, and because it's got some of the blood and stuff inside, that they're able to almost make a facial design of what Jesus would have physically looked like. That's a long existing piece of history. Well, they've been scientifically testing it And remember how I told you it was submitted, like people found it in 1300? They tested it with a new type of X-ray technology, and guess what it says scientifically? Guess, man. Nothing, bro. Come on. Commentary. Um, that it actually does date, even though it was found in it was found in 1300. It matches that it is it is right at 2000 plus years old. So the scientific new discovery of it is that the Shroud of Turin actually does line up to be the same time that Jesus would have been here. So there's a good chance that that physically is, his grave clothes. And a lot of people already believe it is, but science just said, oh yeah, that checks out. Um, yeah. And they've been able to find fibers and test it in that capacity. Um, Paris tried to that they yeah, so they've used AI to do Imagine Jesus with it, after the shape of it and everything. In Paris, Simone Biles, the gymnast, went to celebrate after winning or after the Olympics. She went to celebrate while she was in Paris. Um, and they tried to charge her $26,000 for one bottle of champagne because she was famous. She said no. She said, I'm not doing that. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez has officially filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. Um, So that's happening, and Ben is making his first public appearances since then. Um, yeah, there's a lot of footage of this black ring, guys, that you guys should check it out. That was seen over Williamsburg, Virginia. Scammers hacked McDonald's Facebook account and stole $700,000. Or sorry, Instagram account and stole $700,000. You know what that $700,000 could have done? Fixed an ice cream machine or two. Um, at like fairs and carnivals and theme parks and stuff, the swings that hang super high in the air, like top of a skyscraper high. Um, in Mexico at Six Flags, the rides shut down when a storm popped up, and the people shut the ride down with all the people still hanging in the air. What imagine not only being stuck for hours in those big swingy things, but in the middle of a storm. And they were left stuck up there. Um, that's horrifying to me. That's another reason to never get on those things. I get that rides break, but still. And my last bit of news, Tristan shot me this morning, before I woke up because I slept in late from making buttons, that Transformers comic books from Skybound are currently outselling every DC book. All the Batmans, all the Supermans, all the crossovers, all the things. Transformers comics are currently outselling all of DC, which is a pretty impressive feat and says a lot about where we are in terms of comics industries because Transformers is doing good. You go ahead and bounce. I'll say goodbye to these folks because I know you gotta go. Um, but that about does it for our news, guys. I've got a bunch of events coming up. On I've got a nerd market tonight. I've got a Comic Con next week in Havelock, North Carolina. I've got my Comic Con that I'm running, Vertical Mini Con, on September 7th. And then a few others. I've just added Boone Comic Con. It's a first year show in Boone, North Carolina. I've applied to Fayetteville Comic Con and some different ones, but I'll be at some cons coming up as well. Um, and I'm working on some new chapters on some things and trying to get some more book stuff published. And we're deep in the middle of podcast season with the pull list and the Faith and Fandom LTN podcast. So I'm churning away on those things as well. So just want to say thank y'all for being patient, taking time to listen and be involved and care. I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Um, Stephanie, oh, hold on, I'm on the wrong ones. That's older. There we go. Um, Adam Davis, Rebecca Godlove, Patrick Gale, Sarah Lewis, Christina Ray, Jason Bullock, Jeanette Skaggs, Caleb Grimm, Zach Harris, John Jacobs, Todd Turner, Mike Perna, Jason Crutchfield, Jay Sheed, Candace Davis, Alicia Glenn, um, Scott Ward, Gear Saber Cosplay, Ron Petite, Jonathan Herman, the Coleman family, Jamie Montgomery, Colin Sproles, Jeff Weimer, David Brooks, and just this week we had Darth Paradox join as well. So I want to say thank you for taking the time to support, for encouraging, for doing all the great things that you're doing. Um, it's a chunky season of travel and everything else, and I'm grateful for all that we're getting to do, and y'all make a lot of it possible. So apparently I've missed two calls that I need to, getting called into my mogul job, and got to call some friends back. So I'm gonna have to go adult now. But I hope y'all are doing well, and that I get to see you at a con real soon. I'll talk to you later, y'all. Have a great day.